Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Nolen, and I have a program that is called Expat Conversations. Expat Conversations is part of the extension of the University of Guadalajara Institute of Investigation, Innovation, and Governance, which is headed by Dr. Marco Antonio Cortez Gradado. Dr. Gradado asked me if I would host this program and basically reach out to the expat community here in Mexico. So we have started this YouTube program and via the radio through the University of Guadalajara Radio 104.3 FM to have conversations with all different types of interesting conversations with different people that can give really great information to the expat community and anyone that wants to listen. So we're here at the beautiful Monte Carlo Villa Riviera Lagardo in Chapala, Mexico. And we want to say thank you very much to the Riviera Monte Carlo for allowing us to film all of our shows here. It is a beautiful, beautiful facility. It's been here for over 100 years. It's situated right on Lake Chapala. It is just an unbelievable place. They have many, many hotel rooms, resort, spa type services. They have thermal mineral water in every suite. They have a large pool. Actually, they have several pools that are all thermal mineral water. Very, very great for your body, for your health. And they also have about a dozen pickleball courts. Yes. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking to several gentlemen that are very involved with the pickleball. But today, I'm very fortunate to have a couple of young ladies on the program that are with the municipality of Chapala Extension Liaison for the expat community. So I'd like to have them introduce themselves and we'll start our conversation.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for having us here today and in representation of our municipal government. Yes, my name is Aurora Michel and I do work as a volunteer in charge of the area as a liaison of the expat community. I have lived here for 33 years and therefore I have lots of friends who are expats from different countries, okay? And we have people from Belgium, we have people, but the majority are from the United States and Canada. We have Italian, we have Germans, we have from India. So it's a beautiful area where a lot of people from all over the world get together and exchange their culture and exchange their experiences and all of that. So that is why this is such a unique area, the Ribera de Chapala, because it's an enormous culture that feels here in this community, and we all are together in this beautiful village, and we work together. And I will tell you all the projects, but first of all, I would like to introduce you Karen Tejeda. Karen, could you please say a few words?
Yes, my name is Karen Tejeda, and I work for government, and I'm helping Mrs. Aurora Michel, and I love to do it. I love to live here. I born here, so I love Chapala. I like all that we have, and I know that for other cultures are like lovely to live here because we have a perfect weather, I think, and a lot of things that somebody else can love like I do.
Well, she's exactly right. And they call this eternal spring. The weather here never really gets below 60, never gets above really 85. We have about a 3.5 month long rainy season, but the rest of the year, and it usually rains in the evenings.
Yes.
Early in the morning. But the rest of the year, it's just perfect weather. Very, very nice. The temperatures are very mild. We're actually at about 5,300 foot altitude. So we're kind of high as the altitude goes, kind of like Denver, Colorado. There's very, very, very low humidity here, even though we have the largest body of water in all of Mexico. Right here, we sit on it, Lake Chapala. It actually extends from the state, most of the state of Jalisco and also Michoacan.
Exactly.
It edges the western edge of Michoacan. And there are a lot of villages and cities and towns on both ends, and all the way on the south side of the lake and the north part of the lake. Now the lake runs for about, 70, 80 miles?
Well, it's 72 kilometers
72
long,
kilometers long.
and it's about 23 the width of the lake.
It's a beautiful, beautiful lake, beautiful body of water with a lot of interesting villages and towns all situated around it. I think most of the expat community, which we're talking to today, live on the North Shore. It's closer to the city of Guadalajara.
Correct.
It's about, I think, 35 kilometers from the city of Guadalajara. But one neat thing about Chapala is the airport is situated halfway in between. So if you fly into the Guadalajara airport, you don't have to go into the big, massive city of 6 million people with the whole surrounding area. You can take a right, head a little bit east, and within 15 minutes you're here in Chapala. But there's also the communities of Ajijic, San Antonio, and several others that I can't recall the name of, but the weather here is beautiful.
Yes.
And as Aurora said, it's not only Americans and Canadians. There's people here from the UK, from all over Europe, Japan.
Yes.
There are people here, as she said, from Belgium.
Yes.
I know a couple people from New Zealand, Australia. So it's a world community.
Yes.
And all of these people bring their culture here. And it just mixes into a huge smorgasbord, which is so cool.
Yes.
All the shops, all the artsy type of situations that we have here are just intermingled. Mm-hmm. But we all remember, as expats, that we are hosts here in the lovely country of Mexico. And the Mexican people are so friendly, so cordial, so inviting to us. I feel more at home here now than I did in the city of Houston, where I lived for many, many years. I'm originally from Oklahoma. I lived there for many years, then moved to Houston, and then after that spent 5 years in Puerto Vallarta, where I hosted a radio show on the University of Guadalajara radio, and loved it. It was mainly directed for the expat community, but we had a lot of the different government agencies from Mexico, the visa, the driver's license, the cultural centers, come on the show and explain how to make our life here in Mexico easier.
Right.
And that's what people like Aurora does. She's a liaison between the government and the expat community. And so I'd like to explain a little bit more to the audience what you do, some of the situations you run into on a daily basis.
Wonderful.
What kind of crazy things us expats come up with, how you help them out with it, and then if you wouldn't mind kind of explain your side of it from the Chapala government, how we can be better citizens, better expats, impact the community in a positive way. So if you don't mind, I'll just kind of turn it over to y'all.
Wonderful.
And do something that I have a very hard time doing, being quiet.
No, you don't need to be quiet. This is a wonderful conversation to all the people that is going to be listening to us. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Marco Antonio Cortez from the University of Guadalajara. I think we know each other because we have been so involved with the lake issues in the University of Guadalajara that throughout the years, I have been living here 33 years, and we have so many things that have linked us or myself with the University of Guadalajara and other entities from the government, state of Jalisco and federal government that have something to do with Lake Chapala. So it's been wonderful experiences. I worked since 33 years ago here as the director of a financial center here in Ajijic. I started in Chapala, and then we built another branch in Ajijic, and I moved to Ajijic because my house is in Ajijic.
It was a financial institution.
Financial institution,
Okay.
yes. Yes. First of all, an investment brokerage firm, and then we became a bank and a complete financial institution, with all kinds of services for our community, not only in the stock market or private banking, I would say.
I'm very aware of your company because you have branches in Puerto Vallarta.
Yes, we do. We do. We have like 43. I don't have that anymore.
You're retired like I am
I'm
too.
retired. I'm sorry.
I could be talking about the oil and gas industry, which I was in for 40 some odd years, but I am retired, have been for 8 years, so that's my past life. This is our new chapter in the
That's
book
true.
of our lives.
Yes, I've been only retired since 2 years ago, and,
Oh.
and I still say we, and
You're not
I've been saying
used
we
to.
for so many years, but now we is part of my community. So
Yes, ma'am.
now the we is our community. So it's a wonderful place to live and to work here, because we can do so many things for our municipality. And that is something that, as we were talking, I'm so thankful with the expat community from different parts of the world, as we said, because all of them have been a key factor of development in a sustainable way, and also in a very, how could I say, in a very wonderful way of developing a community like this, because they have already experienced that progress doesn't really mean to be up to date in technology in everything, but also and losing our principles, losing our values, and sometimes in the United States, sometimes you don't know who your neighbor is, or
That's
in
true.
Canada, or in big cities here in Mexico too. You don't even know who your neighbor is. And here we are like a large family. We help each other. It's a wonderful community. I think it's a unique community because we have the influence of art, education, language skills, and all kinds of things that can improve the lives of us Mexicans. And in terms of investments, a lot of expats generate jobs for Mexicans, especially in the restaurant industry, where, we all go and like to be served in a nice way. And believe me, we do receive very good attention here in Lakeside when you go to visit a restaurant or a hotel. Everybody makes all the employees, all the community here makes feel welcome.
They very much
to
do.
everybody, even the expats. They welcome their expats that are
That's true.
the newcomers,
That's right.
and they take them by their hand and they show them where to buy the tortillas, where to do this, where to go and do the market, and
Yes.
and it's
It is a
fun.
community.
I think that's how the Mexican is, right? We are, maybe, like, we keep you warm.
Uh-huh.
And we know if you need something, we'll be there for you, to attend you, to protect you. If American people or wherever
They are from.
they are from, we're gonna be there. That's how we are, I think.
Yes.
And I think most of the expat community understand that. I'm very familiar, or more familiar actually, with the Puerto Vallarta or the Bay of Banderas community, because I lived there for 5 years. And it's rather large, but the expats have been coming there for about 60 years. What kind of kicked all of Puerto Vallarta and the Bay of Banderas off was a really unique movie that was directed by John Huston. It starred Richard Burton,
like
called The
Iguana.
Night of the Iguana.
Right.
And it was mainly filmed in the Puerto Vallarta area. And after John Huston and Richard Burton, Deborah Kerr, there were a couple other young ladies in the movie.
Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor also
this is where it gets real interesting. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton were boyfriend-girlfriend.
Yes.
They were both married to other people, but they were in Puerto Vallarta. Mr. Houston brought Richard Burton down for the film, and he brought Elizabeth Taylor. They both fell in love, not only with each other, but with the Bay of Banderas or the Puerto Vallarta area. And over time, they decided to move there. And they both built houses, and it's a really, really unique home because there's a house here, and a bridge in between.
Between the houses.
So they could go back and forth. And this was back in, I think, the early 60s, maybe later 60s. But John Houston decided he wanted to live there. And at the time, Acapulco was kind of the cool, groovy place for the Hollywood crowd, for the rich and famous of the United States to go to Mexico and enjoy the beautiful shores and beaches of Mexico. But then when Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, John Houston came down to film The Night of the Iguana, they went back to Hollywood, to Los Angeles, and other parts of the world and started telling their friends. And it kind of switched the expats, the rich and famous, going from Acapulco to Puerto Vallarta. It was closer, it was better protected from hurricanes all year round, and it just grew and grew and grew to where it is today. And I think there's probably around 75 to 80,000 expats live in that area. Now, not all of them are year-round. A lot of them are snowbirds from either Canada or the northern part of the United States. But many, I'm sure over 40,000 live in that Bay of Banderas area. But the Chapala area has even a longer history than that. I think the first expats came down here probably right after the Revolution. Some of the Americans that fought, and not only Americans, but Irish. Many people don't realize there were a lot of Irish people that came to fight the Mexican and then ended up switching sides.
Of course.
And they went from being on the American side to the Mexican side. Matter of fact, there's a famous movie director from Ireland, and he is filming a film or movie, writing and directing a film all about that.
Wow, interesting.
The countries were very similar. The Irish felt downtrodden by the United Kingdom, just like Mexico felt like kind of a stepchild of the United States. They're both very, very Catholic countries, and they are both, the flags are the same color.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there's a lot of Irish people. Matter of fact, I think in the monument of the Revolution in Mexico City, there are 3 or 4 Irish citizens buried there.
Okay.
It has a unique history. But the Irish have been in Mexico for a long time. The Japanese, many years ago, a lot of Japanese came to Mexico after working in the United States for different jobs on the railroads and different things like that. And they moved around border towns along the American-Mexican border.
Exactly.
And what happened in 1941 after Pearl Harbor, the government of Japan and also the government of Mexico and the United States said, you all need to remove yourself as Japanese citizens that close to the border of the United States. So many of them moved down to this area, especially Guadalajara. And a lot of British came over here. There's, as you mentioned.
Yes.
So
French people.
I know people here from New Zealand. But the interesting thing about it is the Lake Chapala area, there have been people here for 100, 120 years. And it's been growing.
Yes.
And we have unbelievable history down here. So anyway, I want to let Aurora talk a little bit more about her job and how she reaches out to the expat community, and also how the government reaches out and what we can do to be better citizens while we're down here visiting the beautiful government of Mexico and the country of Mexico.
Yeah, actually, I think that we have good neighbors here. Actually, the expat people make a lot right now. I think they help our community. They help in many ways, I think. Yes. So what they can do to do it better, I think they do better already.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes. So the only thing that I can say is that you can find us to actually help you to make the things better. Maybe in the streets, maybe to feel safe, in a lot of things that we can help. You can find us in the government, and we're gonna be there for you guys. So
Yes.
We appreciate that very much. I think there is a very good, and has been for a long time, working relationship between the expat community and the government here. And I know we're very, very strong in Puerto Vallarta. They reach out to us all the time. And
And I would like to tell you how, what has been our experience from the government side
Okay.
throughout the years.
okay,
In 2002, I guess, or 2001, the current mayor that we have now, he became our mayor for the first time.
okay,
And since then, he asked me to be the president of the Citizens Council Board of the municipality. At that time, I was working still, and in my spare time, I would cover that. And you know, I told Alejandro, our current mayor, well, you know, I'd be happy to work with you as a volunteer as well, you know, because I had my job, full-time job. And I said, but I wouldn't like to have just a label of being part of your organizational chart. I want to leave a legacy together with you. So what would you like to do? And he says, no, well, you tell me, what would you like to achieve, you know? And I said, well, education, it's a very important matter. If you educate people, you give them a life.
that's true.
But if you do not, then money will not be enough for anything, because you don't give them the tools to be prepared. And he said, but education is not part of the municipality responsibilities, and that is true. And I said, well, if you think that you cannot make a difference in education, then forget it. But he says, no, let's see how we can do it. And he's that kind of person. He doesn't say no, but he likes to find the way how we can improve our municipality, how we can make it better. So even though he was a young man at that time, I mean, 20 some years ago, now he has more experience, and I'm too old right now that I forget so many things. But anyways, the willingness to help the community and to make a difference in our municipality, it's not ended with our age or with his experience. He's participating a lot, and he wants to hear the opinion of the expat community. Because now, well, let me finish. At that time, what we did, we raised enough funds with a group of expats and myself to build the Tecnológico and the CONALEP. The Tecnológico is a university, a technical university here, which we didn't have any at that time, 22 years ago. And the CONALEP, it's sort of a trade school where people, the students are doing high school, but they graduated of a task in computers, in mechanical, technical, mechanical, or something like that is called. And other activities which makes them earn a little bit of money so that they can continue university. So we built right on the
Top of the hill.
bypass, 2 universities, 2 schools. The university, which is Tecnológico, and the CONALEP as you go towards Guadalajara, the school that is before. And they were born as twins, a twin project. And it was fantastic. So I am so thankful for the expat community because they immediately started to help. At this time, there was the Canadian club. I think that was the Canadian club, the one which started and a group of friends from the Canadian club, Stuart McCowan, Dan McTavish, who passed away already, but he lives in our hearts, and in the memory of all the students that are there, and so many people who contributed to make that happen. And Alejandro is our president, is our mayor, I should say. He was very keen in achieving those goals, and there they are. So facts speak for himself. And now that he's his second term.
He just started his second term, and it actually was in, what, November?
October.
October
1st.
So, and it's a 3-year term, able to be reelected for another 3 years. So for possibly another 5.5 years, he will be the mayor
We hope so.
or government official
Yes.
in charge here in the Chapala municipality.
Yes.
And we will have a great working opportunity to grow and make things better.
Definitely.
Work together.
And work
I think.
together.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that the expat community's had a really great and a lot of positive aspects.
Oh, yeah.
There are a few negative things that the expats bring along, and we really don't want to get into those.
No.
But there are a few things. It's like a marriage almost. There's a
Exactly.
lot of positive and every now and then a little
Yes.
negative. But if you work on the situations, then you can figure it out and work together.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, look at the fingers of one hand. They belong to one hand, and they are not the same.
No.
And we need them together
Yeah.
so that we can do our activities. So that's how essential it is to work together with all the expats, with different nationalities
Yes.
and everybody. And let's work together to make this a better place for all of you to live.
Well, I think the most negative thing, and I'll mention it, is the price of real estate. The expats have come down here, many from, California, Washington, Oregon, Seattle, all over, UK, and a lot of them are retired, most of them, and they have sold homes or businesses in the United States or wherever, and come down here kind of flushed with cash, and have run the prices of housing up quite a bit. It's going on worldwide.
Exactly.
I mean, it costs so much more to live in California now than it did when my uncle moved there in 1947. It's incredible.
Yes, definitely.
The little 5 acres he had for about 40 years that he paid, I think, $1,500 for,
Oh my goodness.
sold for multi-millions of dollars after he
Exactly.
passed away. It isn't that bad here, but they've brought a lot of jobs, the expats have, and I think that's one of the really positive things. And also a lot of the culture, a lot of the art. And when I say culture, there's theaters here.
Yes.
There's music festival, there's opera, all types of art, all types of clothing, all types of things that they've brought to add,
And
as well as the charities and everything else.
But let me tell you what else. And this is something that I truly love of the expat community, because we were raised in a different way. My father and mother, they always told us, if something comes out of your mouth, you have to fulfill it. Any promises, you have to fulfill it. Commitment, So we were born like that and all of that. But what I wanted to say is also, we had the fame for being de mañana.
Ahorita. Ahorita.
We'll do it later
It's
on.
Yeah,
We'll do it later on.
A little bit later on.
And later on could be a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, or I will call you ahorita. And ahorita is not that time. That could be a week or 2 weeks, and
Mexican time.
Yeah.
well, yes.
My wife is on that 24 hours a day.
Really?
Oh, yes.
She is so punctual. Really, really. She told me this morning, I will pick you up at this time, and she's there at that time.
And that's fabulous.
Yeah,
It's a
I love-
great habit.
Yes. So that has a big deal of contribution, and also on the other side, a lot of frustration for the expat community, that mañana doesn't mean really what the time. I mean, when it will happen. But it's we're beginning to learn a lot from the expat community.
Well, a lot of us expats need to come down here and slow down. We're hurry, hustle and
That's
bustle,
true.
especially if you're from like LA or New York or Chicago. You come down here and we are mostly retired, so we need to slow down and relax. And it's still 8 years since I've been down here, more or less, and I still have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, part of that's because both my parents were in the United States military. I went to Catholic schools for 12 years, and with the Catholic nuns
We
back in the
understand
50s,
why,
60s,
then.
and you're there, you're in trouble, big trouble.
yes.
So, but I'm really working on it. But a lot of the expats, I think, have really come down here and mellowed out,
Yeah,
which is great.
I have two friends that always ask me, at your time or our time? Okay, at your time.
Well, speaking of time, we're almost out of time
Yes.
for this conversation. It's been a delight, young ladies. Aurora, Anna, Karen, I just want to say thank you very much. Is there anything in closing y'all would like to add?
Yes.
Please do.
I want to tell you that, what the Expat Liaison Committee does is, to help you through the situations that you need services from the municipality. We do not get involved into legal actions that you have carried long ago with people who have close your gate or blah, 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 whatever. I'm not a lawyer, and we do not do that, especially things that have been there for so many years. However, what we can do is, if you need any services from the municipality, please contact us.
Yes,
Uh,
I
we-
have the number. It's 3316. No, let me write that down.
Okay.
That is a cellular number from Karen, and I will give you also mine if you want to.
It's 3318696250. That's mine, and
Mine is 33 31 37 41 19.
Again, I want to say thank you very much to both of you for taking your time to come and give the information. We will be having another conversation. It may be
For sure.
months from now, but it may be next week. You never know.
That would be wonderful, because I feel that we didn't conclude it properly today, because we have so many things to tell you and how you can get involved with us. Remember, together, government and society can make miracles
yes.
in any community, but working always together.
Well, that's a great opportunity to invite you back both. I enjoyed my time with you. Our conversation, I think, went really well. And there is a lot more. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg. And as we have different conversations over the next months and years, we'll each learn from each other. And our main focus here is to get this information out to the expat community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Not only here in the Lake Chapala Society, but also in the Puerto Vallarta area, the Bay of
And
Banderas.
if they have questions, they can send it to you, and we can resolve here the questions.
Yes, definitely. I can also give an email address.
If
which
you
is
would,
mine.
please.
It's AMICHEL 50. Oh, I'm sorry. AMICHEL G57@gmail.com.
Okay.
So
And if you don't get that information down, you can always contact me at 104.3 wakeupshow@gmail.com, and I will be able to relay the information to you.
yes, that would be very important, because we have not even touched what the goals are for this administration period of our mayor, and there are so many things to talk to you about. So
Well, I have noticed one thing. They've been repairing Main Street for the last couple weeks,
Yes.
and that's my biggest complaint living down here is the roads. They're cobblestone. It's like going back to Rome. But I understand the expats like that they've actually
No.
voted over the years that they like it
No, they don't.
more than they do the nice paved, beautiful highways like you see in most of the United States.
Well, okay, let me tell you, they do not like paved roads. They like cobblestones, but they also like to have sidewalks.
That's right.
Properly sidewalks where they can work. And we have to think about them. and about everybody, you know.
That's your safety. Safety is first.
Safety.
Well, like we said, the municipal mayor has 5.5 more years, and we will start working on those things.
And actually, this is the first president who thinks a lot in the Expat community.
Yes.
That's the truth. It's the first
But we're
one.
very happy to have him.
Thank
And if
you.
I could vote, I'd vote for him,
Thank you.
okay? But I don't have dual citizen yet. I may be working on it. I don't know. Again, I want to say thank you very much to everyone that listened in today to what I call Expat Conversations with Michael Nolen. And it's through the University of Guadalajara Institute of Investigation, Innovation, and Governance. And again, thank you ladies for being on the show today.
Thank you, Michael.
And I look forward to seeing you in the near future again.
And thank you, Dr. Marco Cortez, again, for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Happy trail.